I had quite a tumultuous, confusing journey into getting to where I am in my degree. I was always a very creative person. I love to read, I love to write. And then when it got towards that decision of what do I want to study at university, I was pretty set on English literature and I was very happy with that. But I suddenly panicked and I thought, what am I going to do with an English degree?
Mm-hmm.
And, I went on open days and I decided that actually psychology would get me to a really good career. I feel like I would have more job prospects.
But it wasn't what your heart was telling you.
No, but I didn't listen to my heart, and I ended up actually applying for psychology, and then I studied psychology as well for a solid month.
Wow.
And I was quite unhappy because I wasn't really following what I wanted to do, and in the back of my head, I was thinking something wasn't quite right.
Mm-hmm.
But I didn't do anything about it for a really long time, and I didn't listen to myself for quite a while, and I just stuck with psychology. And so it was a very long build up of, okay, I'm not happy, but what do I do? And then I was like, okay, you know what? I do need to do something about this because I don't want to study psychology. I don't want to become a psychologist. Why am I doing this degree? So then that's when I had a lot of meetings. So I spoke up. I spoke to my advisor. I emailed admissions and I sent loads of panicked emails saying, I don't know what to do anymore. And then I was directed to admissions. It was the admissions director, and I still remember she was so supportive, and she really wanted me to transfer. She really wanted this for me. They initially told me that I had to, either do a gap year and wait this year out because it was so late into the semester to switch.
When do they usually advise you switch, like a week or two in?
It is usually the first couple of weeks. And then I had a lot of meetings, and we came to the idea that I could transfer degrees.
I was going to ask what your biggest fear was, but I suppose it was just really trying to stick with it for that year and not have to take a gap year.
Yeah, it definitely was. I was really upset. I was like, I don't want to take a gap year because I have this momentum. I want to keep going. And I really fought to say that, look, I can catch up. I will do whatever it takes. Just let me transfer. I had to write a whole new personal statement. And I had to submit a lot of stuff I did for A-level. So that really played a lot in them trusting me that I could catch up. And then eventually they let me transfer. I knew that, okay, I've got my new seminars, new people, new teachers. And then I had a lot of imposter syndrome because I thought, okay, I've missed so much. I've missed all of the basics that they teach you in the first semester. And despite catching up, I just thought, okay, now I don't fit in here either.
I was going to say, so you're not just catching up on like reading all of Jane Austen, you're also catching up on like everyone's already made their friends.
Exactly, and getting to know all the staff. And I was just worried, like I used to love English, and then I thought, what if that changes at university? Because it's really different. University is so different to studying at college or sixth form. So I had a lot of fears around, would I even be able to do it? It would be really difficult. And then I got there, I got on a first seminar, and it's like a switch flipped. And I thought, no, this is where I was supposed to be. No one's out to get me. Like, everyone is so friendly. So all of those fears were genuinely for nothing.
And you managed to make friends as well.
Absolutely. I mean, no one even knew that I had transferred because your seminar groups change every semester. So I didn't even need to tell anyone.
So you're now in your final year. So now you're looking to graduate. Do you regret studying English literature?
Absolutely not. I'm so happy I made that decision. I keep thinking I wish I made that decision earlier because I love my degree. I filled the gap that I had where I didn't know what I could do after university. I didn't know what you could do with a creative degree or what you could do with English. And I realized there are so many industries that I could go into. There's journalism, there's marketing.
And you've also, because you've got that resilience, because you went through that hardship at the beginning, you've now got that as proof of like a challenge for the rest of your life that you can draw on in any interview and that sort of thing.
I think it's that skill of really advocating for yourself. The key thing is you have to know what your passion is. You have to know what you love. And I think that's the biggest piece of advice that I would give anyone is do what you want to do what you love to do and what you're passionate about, because I'm in such a good position. I've done the degree that I wanted to do, that my passions aligned with and that my skills aligned with. And now I've got all of these broad options as well.